Hi, Chad the Quirky Picker here, just giving you a quick update. We did not record a podcast this week. Denis was on his anniversary. He was out of the country in a remote location, and it just didn't work for internet. Plus, I mean, when he's on vacation, do we really want to be doing these podcasts? You know, spend time with family. It's more important than this podcast. You're our family online, but our real families are important. So we'll have one ready for you next week. Thanks for understanding. All right, let's move on to a segment that we call, this is the first time we're doing it, it's called Time Machine. And this is us traveling back to a specific year. What would we buy then to resell now? And maybe each week or every few weeks when we do this, we'll just pick a different year out of a hat kind of thing. But we decided on this year we would go back to 1977. So Denis, go back to 1977. What are you buying right now to sell today?
If I only knew now, if I knew then what I know now, right? Is that how it goes?
Yes.
One, I was only like 3 years old, but my dad wasn't. And all my dad had to do in 1977 when we're going into, the department stores, I don't know if you had Bradley's or Ames or Kmart, and you go in there, you could get your kid a Star Wars figure. He just had to buy two. They were what, $2, maybe $2.99. I'm talking about the figure with the plastic and then the card backing on it.
Mm-hmm. He was buying one for you?
One for me. Yeah, I mean, it's
as a 3-year-old.
Well, no, I mean, probably wasn't buying them until I was about 5 or 6.
Okay.
But if we're back at 1977,
yes.
This is what he should be buying.
That's what
he was buying them in 1980 when Return of the Jedi, 1983, and all that. Mm-hmm. So I know he bought them for me then, but of course I ripped it open, threw the packaging away, lost the weapon that it came with, lost the stuff. In any case, I did that for G.I. Joes, same thing, the figures and the vehicles. Mm-hmm. Like, how many people saved the box that the car, the tank, the airplane came in? No one. Mm-hmm. Transformers, if I go here and look up 1977 Star Wars, and this reminds me of a great sale I made, some of the stuff from 1977 is just absolutely insane. So there was a figure that came out in 1977, and it was Luke, and he had the white robe and all that, but it was a very limited run on this type of figure. His lightsaber actually came out of his hand and then it came out again. So the actual wording that you want to look up is double telescoping lightsaber. That figure alone, loose, without packaging, is $500.
Yeah.
They break, they're brittle.
Yeah,
but
that's probably why they're so rare.
Yeah, and it was a very short run. After that, it was just one single piece that came out for the lightsaber. I'm not a a master of that type of stuff. I know some people that can tell you exactly the year, the country of origin changed. Mm-hmm. Some were Hong Kong, some were I think Taiwan made some. There was a bunch of different companies making these for Kenner back in the day. But look up Transformers, later on. Look up G.I. Joes later on. That's going to be the same type of thing. Not 77, but specifically 77 Star Wars stuff. That's what I'm buying. I'm buying all of it. I'm buying as much as I possibly can. I'm going to put it into like a storage facility that's humidity controlled so the boxes don't get molded. And then I'm done. Then you can name your price. You have like the entire collection. Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, you're not talking tens of thousands. You're probably talking hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. So are you pulling those out today to sell them, or you're thinking about, maybe could you ever depart with that? You've kept them so long. At what point do you sell them? Yeah.
I could totally sell anything. I'm not really attached to much at all. I would rather go on trips and see stuff that have things like in my house.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if you keep holding out, does the value just keep going up and up and up? Or do you think there comes a point where the next generation doesn't even like Star Wars anymore?
Yeah. Because that's our generation right now that wants to rebuy their childhood.
Yeah.
So that's why I love flipping old toys like that from the 70s and 80s, because everyone, oh man, I had that and I want it again. And now I'm going to pay 15 times what it cost back then, and they don't care. They'll buy it.
Mhm.
But there is a point where I think you're right. We get older, we start getting rid of that stuff. Do my kids, my 17 and 18-year-old, they have no idea what that is. They never
Yeah,
had that as a kid. So I think the value will probably go down.
I'm not sure, just because Disney keeps making Star Wars movies, and as long as there's still an interest in Star Wars, I think
Yeah,
that the people in their teens and 20s now, when they get to their 40s and 50s and start having money, if Star Wars is still a thing, they
right.
might be interested. I don't know. I wish I
Are
could see
they
the
going to
future.
buy something from 1977? It's not even not even their realm. Are you going to go out and buy a toy from 1955? I'm not.
No,
I'm
no,
not into like the tin toys and the
no.
Marx toys. I'm not into that. My
Yeah,
parents, my
yeah,
father had that stuff.
yeah.
But I have no interest because I didn't play with it.
Right.
Like, I didn't have that stuff.
Some of that stuff is rare, and it still doesn't bring much money. I mean,
Right.
there's exceptions to every rule, but
Yep.
so
But
yeah,
yeah, that was it. 77. I'm going into all those department stores and I'm buying
yeah.
all of the stuff.
Every Star Wars figure.
Yep.
Yeah. I was looking on eBay at sold comps, and I typed in 1977, and like I typed in like 77 stereo, because I do like to buy vintage stereos. And there's a couple stereos that there's a Sansui stereo and a Marantz stereo that seem to bring the most money from
Nice.
1977. What the Sansuis can bring up to $2,500 for a restored one. They just look sweet. They're all stainless steel on the front, and they have like the FM dial that goes back and forth when you turn the knob. No digital, nothing digital. Some of them have tubes for the sound, and which some people think just makes a better sound than solid state electronics. As far as like music goes, the Fleetwood Mac Rumors record came out. I don't know if it came out. I think it came out that year, and one had sold still sealed. Like, who bought Fleetwood Mac and didn't listen to it back in the day?
Right.
Yeah, one sold sealed, assuming it was legit, but $520 for a sealed album.
That's awesome.
I thought that was Fleetwood Mac's best album.
Agreed.
Yeah, and then I'm a big Cincinnati Reds fan, so I typed in 1977 Reds baseball cards, and the Johnny Bench and the Joe Morgans can bring some pretty good money. I don't know. I don't think either one of them was a rookie that year, but they have the highest resale value. So yeah, that's probably what I would go back and collect some more baseball cards and buy a few Fleetwood Mac albums. Buy one to listen to and maybe 5 to resell someday.
Right. Exactly right.
Start filling up my tubs.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
That Marantz is also a really good name.
Yeah, yeah. I have a few Marantz stereos right now.
Nice.
The next segment of our show is called Time Machine. We had fun with this last week. You can travel back to a specific year. What would you buy then to resell now? And this week we decided to do 1983. Dennis, what would you buy in 1983 to sell now?
I am sticking with my my youth, and I'm like 9-10 years old back then, so do the math. And again, I'm not doing Star Wars this time, but G.I. Joe instead. It just came out in, I think, 82.
Okay.
So in 83 it was everywhere, same type of thing. And I'm going to go buy the holy grail of all G.I. Joe toys.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what
The
it is?
aircraft carrier. The aircraft
Yes.
carrier.
The USS Flag.
I was trying to buy one.
No way.
It was at an estate sale.
Yeah.
And I bid up to $400.
Okay.
And it went for over $1,000.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even complete. And it had battery corrosion.
Yeah.
But the box alone.
The box. That's what I'm saying.
For $300. So,
I want like 5 of them in the box,
mm-hmm.
and I'm just going to store them away. And then you just name your price. It's one of those iconic things.
What have you seen them sell for? Have you done some comps to see what?
Oh, you're over $1,000, $2,000, $2,500. It all depends on what you said. Does it even have the box? Is it complete? If you had one incomplete and just parted the thing out, you'd make hundreds of dollars. There was only one kid in our neighborhood that had one. and everyone would go over to that kid's house. The thing's 7 feet long.
Yeah. Wow.
It was in their basement. It was all set up. We'd all bring our stuff over there and just have these, just fantastic battles and
Yeah.
just great fun. I don't know
Yeah.
where it went. I mean, like everything else, it was probably thrown away,
Yeah.
when the kid moved out. But yeah, that's what I'm getting in 1983.
Yeah.
I'm getting the flag.
Wow.
What are you buying?
My youth was a lot of riding my bicycle. I'm gonna go back and buy a 1983 BMX style dirt bike. When I grew
Cool.
up, my parents didn't have money to buy me a BMX bike, so I just used my banana seat bike. I drove it like a BMX bike. I took the fenders off, swapped out the banana seat for a regular seat, and I could ride wheelies. When I was in second grade, I could ride wheelies all the way down the road on my bicycle, and I could like stop and hop on my back tire or my front tire and spin my steering wheel. I was a talented second grader. I talked to a guy once that bought a bike. Someone gave him a free BMX bike, and the pedals alone were worth like $400 on this particular bike. I don't know what year it was, but there's a lot of value not only in the bike itself, but the frames and the parts. And
probably the only thing I regret getting rid of was my 1986 Mongoose BMX bike, chrome molly frame, blue tires, those pads that went around the crossbar and then the handlebar, and all the cool logos, and then we would put stickers on them, and I loved that bike. And it's now, I'd say, anywhere from $1,200 to $1,800 to get it back.
Yeah.
But,
so if you find one at a yard sale, you buy it, you're going to keep it
for a little while.
Okay.
But it has to be the exact same one I had.
Yeah.
If it's not the same one, I'd buy it and flip it.
Yeah.
But if it's that chrome ollie frame with the blue accents and everything, I'd probably keep it for a little while.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Time machine. You can travel back to a specific year. What would you buy then to resell now? We went with 1959, I think is the year. Dennis, what would you buy in 1959 to resell today?
Well, I was looking through some stuff that I found at the dump. I was reminiscing about these great sales I made from this Rubbermaid container full of old dolls, Barbies, some weird Mattel Barbies, and some other line that they did with these old small ones called Little Kiddles. And Little Kiddle, Liddle Kiddle. They were crazy money. I mean, they're small. They're like 2 inches. Okay. In any case. And I said, I didn't have one of these. Okay. But I'm like, what Barbies are worth a lot? I had a lot of the clothing, and that stuff sold. As soon as I listed it, it was gone. So I said, well, what if I actually had the Barbie that this clothing went to? And I was looking up from 1959. What you want to get is what they call the ponytail Barbie. It was one of the originals, and they all have different, eyeshadow or, the blonde hair. They have one with dark hair, and these are going crazy. Here's one that's sold for $989.
Wow.
Here's one. These are all out of the package. There is no packaging. Here's one with no clothing or anything at all for $135. Here's that classic one with the black and white striped bathing suit for $550. Another one for $425. This one came with some clothing, and some of the original paperwork went for $1,200. So yeah, if it's 1959, I'm probably buying as many Barbies as I can and just leave them in the package. Here's another one. The vintage Barbie ponytail, the stand. It's a little plastic disc with the little where you can put the feet.
Yep.
$3,500. It's just nuts. Wow. Here's another one. Here's a very early 1959 Barbie with blonde hair, brown eyeliner, $2,300. Another one, $3,000. I mean, the low prices here are like $165, $192, $125, $150.
Yeah.
$388. I'm buying Barbies. I'm buying the original Barbie and then all the clothing I can buy. So crazy return there. And those are all sold listings. Those aren't asking. The asking is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They're asking like 5,000 to 10,000, but the sold listings are in the thousands of dollars.
Jeez. Well, mine's kind of a weird one. I mean, you could go to the Mickey Mantle baseball card, but that's the obvious answer. Those could sell for thousands. But my father-in-law buys pedal cars, like the old kids can sit in and pedal and steer and everything.
Yep.
And he restores them. So he'll find a really bad one, hammer out the dings, repaint them, buy all the accessories for them. For Christmas, my wife and I found a pedal car at a yard sale last year, and I asked him, "Hey, do you want this?" He's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, they're asking 150," and he's like, "I can't give more than 100 for it." It was a fire truck.
Yep, I know the one you're talking about.
Okay, bro. What? So
has the bell in the front, the little bell that
the bell and the two ladders in the back.
The ladders, yeah.
Now I don't think it's 1959, but I'm telling that story to tell my story. And I said, "Well, if you still have it at the end of the yard sale, here's my card. Give me a call."
Yep.
And they did call me the next day, the last day of the yard sale, and said, "If you want it for 100, it's yours." So I ended up buying him the pedal car, and then I told him that it had already sold, and then we gave it to him for Christmas. And he just recently restored it. And if I could figure out how to show a picture on this software, I'd bring it up, but I didn't have time to get the picture around today. But maybe I'll put it on Instagram. He just restored it and sent me a picture last week, and he says we told him he could sell it if he wants to when he's done, but he likes it so much he wants to add it to his collection. But I'm going to go back to 1959 and buy a pedal car. There was a Ferrari pedal car that just recently sold for $2,000 restored. And then there was some unrestored ones that are selling for about $500 or $600. It takes up a huge footprint in your warehouse, and you wouldn't be able to put it in the storage bin, but I think they're cool, and I'd probably buy a couple. I don't know what they would sell now if they're in mint condition, but probably higher than whatever all these other ones have sold for.
Yeah, because I mean, all the ones you're seeing now are probably restored.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah,
it's only original once.
Yeah. I think my father-in-law said there's like a catalog. He can order reproduction stickers and decals and stuff, but so they're not original anymore, but it's still desirable. He restores them for other people too. They pay him to do it. That's just his little hobby he does on the side. He's a machinist, so he's got every piece of equipment you can. He rebuilds car engines. He loves muscle cars. So that's.
I think I saw one getting restored on like Pawn Stars. I think they bought one. They brought it to some guy, and he restored the whole thing. Yeah. I think it was that fire engine one. But to get the metal smooth again, and then the body filler, and to find all the parts, and they had to make some parts for it, and then they spray it, and it looks amazing. They're so cool, very cool.
I'll put it on Instagram if I can remember, but all of our information is down in the episode credits. All right. Now I think this is Dennis's favorite segment, time machine. We go back to a specific year, travel back to a year. What would you buy then to sell now? I chose the year 1988. It's the year I graduated from high school. What would you buy in 1988?
So this is one of those things where I think didn't we talk about BMX? You brought up BMX bikes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is kind of in that realm, but I remember my first Powell Peralta skateboard, and it was just the coolest thing I ever had. I love that in my BMX bike. And again, those two things I sold. And it's one of those things where I really wish I didn't sell. One, because I loved it. I have a picture of it, but that's it. I don't really have anything else from it. But in '88, skateboarding hit that year where we were all mid to early teenagers, and it was just the thing to do, especially where I'm from, and of course I would imagine across the country. But you're talking Tony Hawk, Guerrero, Caballero, all the guys from Powell Peralta. If I'm going back to that year, I'm buying all the OG, all the original Powell Peralta skateboards, and they came in like 5 colors. So you could get Tony Hawk, silver, those blue, green, all these colors, and I'm buying them all. I'm buying every single one, every single color. Leave them in shrink wrap. I'm leaving them in like a controlled vault because I'm telling you,
Yeah.
people are paying up to $1,000 or more for original skateboards. Like I'm looking through some of these. The stickers. That was a huge thing back then. You could get stickers for
Your
all the
skateboard.
companies, and skateboard stickers from the mid to late 80s are crazy. Here's one that's a sold sticker. It's a vintage Paul Peralta Tony Hawk from the Bones Brigade. This one little sticker, probably 3x4, sold for $30. So if you could find those and the deck, I mean, what like the Tony Hawk stuff or anything from Paul Peralta, it's just huge. Here's one here, used, beat up, $300. There's another one, 800. There's a beautiful one for 350.
Well, I'm going maybe the obvious direction. I'm going to Nintendo. I'm
Awesome.
buying some games still sealed in the boxes, and Nintendo Power Magazine came out in 1988. Issue 1, if it's graded, you're talking $4,000, $5,000.
Wow.
And then some, like any factory sealed game, if you can ever find one of those. Here's Nintendo Pokemon, $10,000 at auction. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. And I think Mario Brothers 2, I think that came out in 88. And they sell for thousands if they're graded. So I'm buying, some Nintendo games. I'm filling up lots of tubs.
Yeah, I'm looking through the Nintendo Power magazine, and I mean they are selling every single day, and just it's crazy the amount of these. Yeah, it's a good pickup. They're out there. I would imagine they're at yard sales, and people don't even know what they are, and you can grab them.
All right, let's move on to Time Machine. Travel back to a specific year. What would you buy then to resell now? Dennis's favorite segment of the show.
I love it.
All right.
Wait, why is it my favorite? You're the time travel person. This isn't one of your favorites?
I love time travel movies, so I guess, yes, this should be my favorite, but my favorite's customer service.
I never have any good ones. I don't get snarky with people. That's probably why. I'm traveling back to the year 1996, and I'm going to Toys R Us and all of those other little stores, all the department stores that are no longer here, and I'm buying Nintendo 64. No brainer. The price in 1996 for this unit was $199.99, which that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah.
Back in 96 for a little, gaming system. So I'm buying them all, and I'm buying games, and I'm not going to open them up. They come in a nice little cardboard box. And if you go to eBay and you type in N64 and then put in like a, game or N64 games, there are some of these auctions that are unbelievable. There's 80 boxed Nintendo N64 games sealed and everything. This went to auction, and the guy actually charged $145 shipping, which is crazy to me, but probably insurance. 67 bids on this thing, and it went for $13,000.
Wow.
$13,000. He has another one here, and it was N64 games sealed. It looks like 24 different games went for $6,300. Rare N64 games, and they're all sealed, $7,800.
Wow.
And another one, I mean, then you get into some of the graded ones. See, I wouldn't even have to do that because I'm buying brand new sealed games. I'm never going to open them up, and they're going to be mint. But in any case, these are all coming in around 9.2, 9.6 CGC, which is the grading company. And they're going anywhere from $4,000 up to $6,000. So
I just typed in N64 sealed 1996, and it brings up a Super Mario 64 N64 still in the box. sealed that sold for $9,000. So that's probably the one you want to buy. If indeed that's 1996, I guess. If you show it
so you just go around to all the stores and just just take all of it. You buy them all and leave them in the box. The best thing is if you could get a box of them, like from the manufacturer, a box of a, you know, I think maybe 12 games in a case. That'd be crazy money. Talking tens of thousands for that thing. So I don't know. That's what I'm buying.
Where's that time machine? Darn it.
Yep.
Because I want it. When you look up like sports cards, the best selling sports card of 1996 is the Kobe Bryant rookie gold refractor card. They sell for thousands.
Awesome.
There's a lot of them out there. I just can't believe how many, like if it's highly rated or graded, you know, I don't know how, if you could just, I guess you could just buy them from like a card store, but you know, how many packs do you have to buy to get one in a pack? But I would just buy a lot of those up, but I am not really a big basketball fan, not really as much as you are for sure.
Whoa. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
You're not kidding.
What do you see?
These are insane. Absolutely insane. I've got well, I mean, this is a signed card for $15,000. A lot of these are like really high grades. 96 Kobe. It's a Topps Chrome rookie card, $8,000. That sold just a couple weeks ago. Here's one that sold. What's today? Here's one that sold today. 1996 Ultra Fresh Faces, number 3, Kobe Bryant. It got a gem mint grading, 8,000. It's incredible. And there's just a ton of them, rows and rows and rows of them, anywhere from 10 down to 5,000, 4,300.
I mean, he was highly collectible when he was alive.
Wow.
Which is just crazy that there's that many cards out there and yet they still hold that kind of value. Like you would think the market would just be flooded with them.
Right.
But maybe it was limited edition or something. But anyhow, that's what I would do for the money. But just for the fun of it, my son has a lot of Mario plushies. And if you type in 1996, either Nintendo plush or Super Mario plush, you're going to see a lot of plush that sell for $1,000 or more than between $500 to $1,000. So I'm probably going to buy some plush for my son. And I'm going to say, you can look at them, put them on your shelf, but don't play with them. Of course, my son won't be born for another 15 years, but that's just a minor detail.
Wow.
I'll give him to him when he's born. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're investments. This is pretty much what we're talking about. The time machine of investments, you know, go back, get some stuff to invest your money. I mean, when I say I'm going to go into and buy all of the N64s, that's going to be a lot of money, but I can, 100 times my investment, even more than that, maybe 200 times my investment in just a short amount of time from 96 to now. It's a sure, well, we know it's a sure thing because we're traveling from now to then, but
how much would you have made in the stock market if you'd invested the same amount of money? Right.
Let's say I bought $5,000 worth of N64 games. A system was 200. Yeah. So that adds up pretty quick. You're not going to get a lot for $5,000. You'd have to move up to maybe 15 or 20 grand to drop on video games in 1996.
I buy more games. Yeah, I buy more games than systems probably because they take up less space.
But a sealed system from that time frame, that's pretty sick too. So
moving on to Time Machine, travel back to a specific year. What would you buy then to resell now? And we chose the year 1969. We wanted to do something in the 1960s, and we chose 69 because that's the year that my parents got married and I was conceived that year. Just a little added bonus here, but so that's my birthday is January 10th. If you want to send me birthday gifts, just keep that in mind.
Well, we're traveling back to 1969 and I wanted to see what year these things actually came out because I dabbled with mini bikes back in the day, back when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. Everybody in the neighborhood had mini bikes. We'd ride them all around. And there's one cool guy had one of these, and it is a Honda CT or CT50. There's a bunch. Here's one. Is it 68? Oh, let me see here. I think it's
71, 70.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of different years, but 1969, yeah, this is 68. 1969 is when they first came out. I did do a little research. Here's one. 1969 Honda CT. They were like little 50cc. They call them monkey bikes.
Yep.
But there's a huge cult following for these. Here's one from 68, 70. Here's another one from 1969, $7,000. So you see that they're worth between, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to $7,000.
Yeah.
Depending on, the originality or the completeness of them. Even parts for these things are crazy. But I did do a little research on these. So these are worth, let's just say, an average of $4,000. It goes up to 5 or 6. It can go down to 2, but an average of $4,000 right now. When you went to go buy one of these in 1969, they were, and I have it written down here, $239.99.
Nice.
$239.99. And I don't know how many of these I could actually purchase. I mean, they're going to take up space, but I think I would want one in every color. Okay. And they made a 50cc and they made a 70cc, and they're just super cool. Little 4-speed and super popular back then. And no helmets, no licensed traffic stuff, no registration, just drive them around.
Yeah.
So I have a soft spot for them. I when I was 10 years old, that was, a little mini bike, not like one of those, but the old pull start with the lawnmower type of thing. Yeah. Like the lawnmower engine ones. That was my Christmas gift that year. And I freaked out. And it was 20 degrees in December, and I wanted to go out and try that thing out, and I did.
It didn't matter.
So nope, it was awesome. So yep, old Honda mini bikes. That's what I'm picking up in 1969.
All right. I'm going in a completely different direction. I grew up in Northwest Ohio, and if you can think of some of the big events in the world that happened in 1969, can you name the biggest one? Probably.
Something to do with the space race, or
we landed on the moon.
Yeah.
In July. First man on the moon, Neil Armstrong. He's from Northwest Ohio. Wapakoneta, Ohio, to be exact, or if you're local there, you call it Wapak. But he's from Wapakoneta, and there's a museum in Wapakoneta right on I-75, the interstate there, that says Neil Armstrong Museum. So I'm like, I wonder if there's if there's things valuable of Neil Armstrong. And if you have about anything that's signed by him, it's pretty good. Like a framed, maybe a magazine cover. I'll share my screen here. Neil Armstrong autograph. Let's see, there's no picture with that one. I'd almost have to like zoom. Can I zoom in? Yeah. This is just like a artist painting, autographed, sold for $24.50. Newsweek magazine autographed, sold for $1,899.
What?
Yeah. It's crazy. That his autograph's worth that much. I think, didn't he? He died, and there was a movie about him. It was kind of a depressing movie, I guess. I don't know. I think this watch might have been worn by him or something. $8,500. Yeah, here's a program from some kind of event where he and Charles Lindbergh both attended, and they signed this. They signed the program, and that sold for $5,700. So, and these are
really cool.
Frame postcards of all 3 of the astronauts from Apollo 11's autographed. Yep. That sold for $4,500. So yeah, I'm going Neil Armstrong. It's not glamorous, but if I had to pick a toy, the toy that I would pick would be, well, first off, I'm a big fan of the GTO car. That's my favorite muscle car. And the 1960s was the peak years of muscle cars. So 1969 GTO. I love the 1969 GTO. Yep. And I could go maybe buy a bunch of parts from a GTO. They had Ram Air and like a carburetor. Currently sells for like $4,000 for a carburetor. You could buy some parts. But if I'm going to pick a GTO toy, I'm going to pick the Johnny Lightning Redline topper. As you can
Oh,
see,
wow.
this is what it looks like here. This little
Very
car
cool.
in the box sold for $4,600. 1969. It says 271, but I guess it's supposed to be a 69. Here's one, purple one, sold in the
Purple.
box,
Yep.
$2,275. So I'm going to buy some Johnny Lightning cars because that's how I can get my GTO parts or GTO fix, and yet I can put them in a tub because everything else is going to have to sit on a garage shelf somewhere and rust out. But yeah,
very
that's
cool.
the best I can do. So that's what I'm doing. Moving on to Time Machine. We're going to travel back to a specific year. What would you buy then to sell now? And we chose the year 2000, Y2K.
Y2K. And I'm going to go out of my comfort zone. This is nothing that I had, nothing that I even knew about, nothing I collected. I just wanted to, I don't know, broaden my horizon, see what is a popular thing to buy in 2000 that you can flip now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I came up with, and a lot of people are going to go, oh, I had one of those. I did not. I don't even know what this thing does. Okay. Let me see if I can bring it up for you. Digimon or Digimon? It looks like one of those. Is it Tamaguchi something?
A virtual
like little
pet,
virtual pet, right? It looks like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But these are specifically ones from back then.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make sure that they were from 2000.
Okay.
And even the little like the figures, like you can see right here, I don't know, I can't even pronounce the guy's name, but it's sealed and it went for $150. And every single color of these things, there's blue, yellow, like see-through blue, translucent blue, green. They're all right around $200 for this thing. I never even knew these existed. I probably have passed over these in like a box of free stuff. But guys, if you're seeing these, wow. Here's a pink one, 135, yellow, just tons. And I guess they made figures, and a lot of 5 figures sold for $105. And then they made cards, I guess, kind of like a Pokemon. That's pretty much what I'm going to compare this to. And even stuffed animals, you can see some plush in there, $65. But that's cool. I mean, something that I never knew existed. And so I learned something with going back in time. So Digimon, am I saying that right? Let us know if you guys had one of those. Have you found them? Have you flipped them before? Did you even know these existed? Because I didn't.
Well, I decided to choose Oakley sunglasses from the year 2000.
Oh, nice.
I was a computer programmer back in the year 2000, by the way. I spent 3 years helping my company get all their programs Y2K compliant. It was a huge project. Everyone says Y2K was nothing. It's because of all the alarmists that rang the bells 3 years earlier and allowed companies plenty of time to make sure everything was going to work okay before the year Y2K came. Now, you remember the big scare back then was IV units were going to stop dripping in hospitals and lights and power plants were going to go down. Well, everybody tested that stuff and none of it was going to fail. So I don't know why everybody freaked out so much, but I went to a big party on New Year's Eve that night, and my friend was like, I'm going to go shut all the lights off at midnight or kill the power to the building at midnight. And I'm like, yeah,
that's funny.
We're going to kill you if we do. you would that's create awesome. Mass panic. It was like 200 people at this party.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to go buy Oakley sunglasses. And the model, I was looking at these up, and I had some Oakleys back in the day. I had some Serengeti's and some other. I used to spend a lot of money on sunglasses back when I had money to burn. But they're called over-the-top sunglasses. They would go over the top of your head.
What?
And I had props ready, but obviously I can't do them on my phone. So if you type in over-the-top 2000 Oakley, look at these things. It kind of looks like a bra.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, is this it?
Well, I can't see. It's too small on my phone to see. But
Oh, yeah. So these are
I
like anywhere from $900 to $2,000 for these things.
yeah. I don't know what they cost
Wow.
new, but I'm guessing between 100, around 100 or maybe 200 at the most new.
Probably from back then. I mean,
Yeah,
there's one in
hopefully
the
it's first.
box with everything. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah. So they're very futuristic. I'm sure they were in a movie. I just can't think what it was. If you know the movie, put it down in the comments for us.
Here's sold. Yeah. They're selling for 800, 860, 700, 950, 1100, 700.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
there's
buy
no,
a few pairs.
wow. That is crazy. And these are obviously every single one of these is used.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. If they're new, who knows what they're worth?